Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do something a little different tonight. This is going to be a lesson in governance and what government should not ever do. That's violate the people. You're looking at a map of Central Florida. Over here on the right, in this area right here, is the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area. Over here in the center is more toward Orlando. Now, many of you have probably been down here on vacation, business, etc. And what you really need to understand is that this precious, beautiful state is being destroyed right before our very eyes by a process of mining that is virtually unknown by most people because it takes place out in the country area in Central Florida. This area right here is called Bone Valley. It is an area in Central Florida that has very rich deposits of phosphate, phosphorus. That is the element that is used in fertilizer. Now, what has been happening in the state of Florida since the late 1800s is this mining process of phosphate has been destroying this great state and polluting its water. Florida has a very shallow water table. You don't have to drill very deep and you'll find water. And so over the many years throughout this Bone Valley area, and actually it started also up here in north central Florida, all the way down through here in between Orlando and Tampa, you have huge phosphate mining companies. There's one down here that's mainly the culprit now. It's called Mosaic. Now, right here, where many of these mines are at in the Polk County area, they flow, the pollution flows down a river and goes out into the Charlotte Harbor, right here. About 78 million gallons of toxic water is pumped into the Peace River, and it exits in the Charlotte Harbor area. Now, the last 2 years, we have had extreme amounts of red tide, which is fertilized by phosphorus. And between the Sarasota area and the Fort Myers area, right in here, we had huge fish kills, dolphins, all types of fish and marine life were killed off in historic proportions. Now, what you need to realize is people throughout this state have been crying out against this activity of phosphate mining for years. They've been demanding that it be stopped. Right here in this lake, Lake Okeechobee, we have huge amounts of phosphorus that are accumulating and causing blue-green algae. Now, this is a freshwater lake. Red tide only exists on the coast in the salt areas. It won't live in fresh water. But this lake here, after the 1928 hurricane that killed over about 2,400 people, the federal government decided to dam up the southern side of the lake to stop the flow in case another hurricane were ever to hit. Now, this is a very bad thing because what is happening, the lake is being filled with contamination of phosphorus, nitrogen, and all the chemicals related to spraying and farm fertilizing. And then when it overflows, they let it out the St. Lucie or the Caloosahatchee rivers, which then flow out here to the west coast into the Gulf of Mexico. Now the problem is that Mosaic is a very wealthy company. They have billions of dollars, and as I've traveled 5-6 county area, there is one common denominator that we're finding, that farmers, ranchers, and small business people have a climate of fear and intimidation. They're afraid to speak out for fear of legal reprisal, lawsuit. Who wants to be involved in an expensive lawsuit wasting your money fighting in a court? So the people naturally keep silent. And even in DeSoto County about a year ago, they were about to be invaded by Mosaic mining activity, and the people said no. So the county commissioners of DeSoto County decided to not let Mosaic have a permit. And DeSoto is somewhere out in here, right around the Arcadia area. If you've ever been to the rodeo, the famous rodeo in Arcadia, you were in DeSoto County. Well, that county commission decided that they didn't want a lawsuit, so they decided to an agreement to negotiate. And that's where we're at right now, folks. We're in a period of negotiation, discussion, talking, and workshops. These workshops are a joke. It's nothing but propaganda, appeasement, etc., etc. So what needs to be done is the commissioners of DeSoto County need to realize that if they don't want a lawsuit, they need to put this decision up to the people of DeSoto County in a referendum vote in the election of 2020. That's right, county commissioners of DeSoto County, Florida. You need to put this decision to allow Mosaic mining, rather the destruction of DeSoto County's rural area and the polluting of your water. You need to put that decision up to the people, the fine people of DeSoto County. Who are your boss? You work for the people of DeSoto County, you county commissioners of DeSoto. So that's the only way we can solve this issue. In Polk County, Hardy County, Manatee County, Charlotte County, Sarasota County, Lee County, and Collier County, is to put the vote up to the people in 2020 on a referendum and let the people decide if they want their water and their land polluted and destroyed by the Mosaic Mining Company. This is a lesson in self-governance. Who is the boss in America? Who is the boss in the state of Florida? Is it the people or the government? I think we all know the answer to that question, don't we? Folks, these are things to consider. Florida is simply the canary in the coal mine. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. Push that bell to get immediate notifications of fresh new videos. Over.